I'm Megan Lee, and welcome to the Noob Reviews. Today we're going to explore a couple of comic books that I got from Canada. They're from my sister. So we have a Batman. It's called A Word to the Wise. And I don't really understand this because usually this is where you get like your what issue number it is. And this one says 9981 to 4329. That's value. With filler paper, 29 cents, 9981 4337. I don't know what that means, but this is the one that is set in Canada. And basically they go across Canada to different cities. We start in Quebec, we go to Toronto, then we end up in Calgary, just different iconic places. So it's very interesting, but I wondered, was this just a special edition? Do they do specific issues or editions that are Canadian themed? And then they have like American USA themed ones. I don't know. This Spider-Man Double Trouble, The Amazing Spider-Man Double Trouble, issue 2. Also, it's Canadian. Canadian value, number 2. It doesn't have US and Canada prices. It only has Canadian price. This is a Canadian one. All the ads are Canadian in it. At the very end, where they give you information where you can contact them, it's a Canadian address. So I totally just folded that, and that is not okay. But so they're kind of in rough shape. They're secondhand. My sister just randomly found them, and it was interesting to me that they're all Canadian themed. She didn't even read them, so she didn't know. She just knew that I like Batman and Spider-Man, and she got them for me, which is very thoughtful and sweet of her. Yeah, so I thought, well, are there Canadian versions? Is this special editions? What is this? So I thought, let's look it up together. Okay, so first let's look up The Amazing Spider-Man Double Trouble, issue 2, 1993, I believe. Here it is. This is the one. Let's go into Go Collect. There it is. 9.6 is basically worth about $40. So you can get some. Then this one has a 9.2, is sold for $66. They're not like super expensive, but they're still worth being this in good shape. So that's good to know. I'm gonna get a little bit more specific in my search. Are Marvel comics from Canada? It just keeps talking about it being printed in Canada, US, and UK. These ones are specific to Canada inside. Marvel Comics, Canadian and US editions. Oh wait, I just found something. Who is Captain Canuck? What? Captain Canuck. Sorry guys, we're going down a bunny trail. This is happening. Oh my gosh. Okay, we're on Wikipedia, which is whatever, but here we are. From the former Vancouver Canucks captain, nicknamed Captain Canuck. Captain Canuck is a Canadian comic book superhero created by, I need to get this comic book, created by cartoonist Ron Leishman and artist-writer Richard Comley. The original Captain Canuck first appeared in Captain Canuck #1, July 1975. The series was the first successful Canadian comic book since the collapse of the nation's comic book industry following World War II. 3 characters have worn the maple leaf costume of Captain Canuck. The first Captain Canuck patrolled Canada in the then future year of 1993, where Canada had become the most powerful country in the world. He was the costumed agent of the Canadian International Security Organization, CISO, whatever. In 1995, Captain Canuck was honored with a Canadian postage stamp, along with Superman, Johnny Canuck, Fleur-de-Lis, and Nirvana of the Northern Lights. What? Like most independent comics, Captain Canuck's adventures have been published sporadic. Okay, I need to see all of this. First published in 1975, but published on and off until 1981. There have been several iterations since. Captain Canuck Reborn, Captain Canuck Unholy War, also called West Coast Canuck, and Captain Canuck Legacy. In 2012, Richard Comley entered in a partnership with Toronto businessman Fadi Hakim to relaunch a new, updated, and modern version of Captain Canuck, which was designed in part by Kalman Andrasovsky Marvel. From Marvel. Okay. An animated series was crowdfunded and it aired between 2013 and 2014. First appearance in 1975 by Comley Comics of Winnipeg, Manitoba. Story followed Tom Evans. That's my mom's maiden name. A Canadian secret agent who gained superhuman strength from contact with extraterrestrials. 2 newer incarnations of the Canadian icon have appeared. Captain Canuck Reborn featured a new Captain Canuck, Darren Oak, who fought a global conspiracy. The title lasted only 4 issues, number 0 to 3, and the incarnation continued as a newspaper comic strip. David Semple sometimes called the West Coast Captain Canuck, appeared in 2004 under the banner of Comely Comics, entitled Captain Canuck Unholy War. Yet another man, RCMP Constable David Semple, adopts the guise of Captain Canuck to take on a biker gang called the Unholy Avengers. Unholy War was slated as a 3-issue miniseries, third and final installment being published in January 2005. While the series has remained in limbo for some time, the official Captain Canuck website stated that the remainder of this series would be completed in 2009. Captain Canuck Legacy 1.5 was published in August 2011 as a limited edition of only 5,000 copies, only distributed in Ontario. I bet those are worth so much. Captain Canuck Summer Special was released in Canada on Canada Day, July 1st, at comic shops across Canada. 2015, Captain Canuck number 0 issue was released on Free Comic Book Day. There was a proposed film in 2011. 2013, Captain Canuck was reimagined for a 5-episode animated web series by Captain Canuck Incorporated and Smiley Guy Studios. Chris Holden Reed voices the captain and Paul Amos his antagonist, Mr. Gold. By 2023, a live-action Captain Canuck project is in development. Wow, this is crazy. So I need to find Captain Canuck, Johnny Canuck, Canadian cartoon hero and superhero who was created as a political cartoon in 1869. Was later reinvented. I've heard of Johnny Canuck. Okay. Fleur de Lis is a superheroine from Quebec and an ally of Northgard. Created in 1984, the name of the character is inspired by the heraldic symbol of the Fleur de Lis, which is the official emblem of Quebec. Yeah. Nilvana of the Northern Lights. Canadian comic book character, the first Canadian national superhero. She's also one of the first female superheroes, debuting before Wonder Woman. I need to find all of these. This is crazy. I didn't know this. I didn't read comic books. Like, I literally started reading comic books like a year and a half ago. So I was not aware of this, and my mind is blown right now. This is amazing, and I'm so excited. I'm going to find Captain Canuck. I'm going to find Fleur de Lis and Nilvana of the Northern Lights, and maybe Johnny Canuck. This is so cool. We're supposed to be figuring this out, but I just found Captain Canuck was a thing, so we went down that rabbit hole. That just happened. The Batman has the most Canadian elements because we were literally in some of the most recognizable cities in Canada. So let's look this one up. Batman, A Word to the Wise, and it doesn't actually have an issue number. I'm getting something completely different. Canadian Zellers exclusive. This is what mine looks. This is a Canadian Zellers exclusive. Zellers is like a department store. It doesn't exist anymore. We had a Zellers in my town. $20, $26. Yeah, it's not really worth a lot. A Zellers exclusive. That explains why all the ads inside were Zellers ads. A promotional edition. This Canadian promotional comic was published by DC Comic and Zellers, owned by the Hudson Bay Company, to help bring awareness to child literacy. Okay. Batman, A Word to the Wise. Okay, here we go. The Timeline Machine. Batman, A Word to the Wise is a comic book published in 1992 by DC Comics in collaboration with retail chain Zellers. The comic is partly a shameless Zellers self-promotion. They go to Zellers. I'm just saying, they go shopping at Zellers. But more important, it was also meant to promote the cause of literacy. As such, all profits from this book were donated to ABC Canada, the organization that promotes literacy in Canada. It's a given that comics like these are aimed towards younger readers. A Word to the Wise is a stark contrast to Bat books that were published in the 1990s. The 90s was known as the dark age of comics because of their grim storytelling, but A Word to the Wise feels more like a silver age of comics book with its light and fanciful narrative. But content-wise, there's nothing to contradict most other stories. It's also a good read as well, provided you're in the age 8 to 12 gullible demographic. This person rated it 6 out of 10. So we have Joker, we have Four Eyes, Batman, we have a bunch of other people in Montreal, Toronto, in Calgary. We have an officer of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. And we get some timeline history of Canada. So, Saturday, August 1st, 1992. Batman, A Word to the Wise. The Joker breaks into the home of a prominent rare book collector in Newfoundland. So that is like way on the East Coast there. He demands a copy of the rare 1867 edition of the Geography of Canada. When the collector refuses to give it him, the Joker sprays him with a special anesthetic gas and steals the book anyway. Sunday, August 2nd. Joker attacks in Nova Scotia. Batman is called on by the RCMP to handle the threat. Thus, Batman makes his way to Canada. Now, this is where Batman enters. He's in Montreal looking for the Joker. He sees a group of kids. One of the kids climbs a fire escape of a condemned building, get a better view, Fire escape breaks. Batman comes just in time to rescue him. One day, a girl named Joni and her boyfriend visit the Toronto Library. She accidentally picks up a rare book, The Geography of Canada, along with her other books. Joker attacks the Toronto Library only to be thwarted by Batman. Joker manages to escape. Batman finds out that Joni took the book by accident and is on her way to the Canadian National Exhibition. At the exhibition, Joker and his henchmen lock all the exits. Joker manages to take the book away, but it doesn't contain what he means. No matter, Joker already has a backup plan involving a rodeo. Dun dun dun. He and his henchmen leave the expedition now. Batman has to figure out where Joker is going. Joni tells Batman that Joker might possibly be going to a rodeo in Alberta. Batman decides to follow Joni's advice and chase Joker there. Since Joni and Joey know Canada better than he does, Batman decides to bring them along as well. Joker breaks into a rare bookshop, tears a page from Geography of Canada, and then Batman and the two kids stop at Zeller's, and they get, full-on rodeo gear, cowboy hats, boots. They follow Joker to the rodeo, where he announces that because of the book, he now has proof that his ancestors have a legal claim to the entirety of North America. Right as he's about to gas the spectators, Batman and the two kids arrive to knock them out. As the villains are arrested and taken away, Batman reads the book himself to find that the legal claim Joker is referring to actually expired just yesterday. The lesson is that Joker should learn how to read better. It literally is just this cute little adventure across Canada. People are saying it feels reminiscent of Silver Age Batman stories because of how light and whimsical it is. This comic was written after Joker crippled Barbara Gordon and, spoilers, murdered Jason Todd. But I have to assume it takes place before these two events, as that's the only justification I can think of for why Batman would take two inexperienced school children to fight Joker. True. That was what I was looking for. That was a promotional comic book. Words. That was a promotional comic book. So I think that's really cool. It's not normal. When you do get Canadian editions or versions, they don't just set them like, oh, this one is your US set in US one, and this is your set in Canada one. But there are rare times where some of our superhero characters will cross over into Canada. It's rare, but it happens. So yeah, it doesn't happen in Spider-Man. It doesn't happen in this Batman. These are Canadian editions. So they were printed for release in Canada. So other than that, there's nothing Canadian about them. The only one that has anything truly Canadian about it is this promotional comic book, which is why it doesn't have an actual issue number. So now all my questions have been explained. I can't believe I found out about Captain Canuck. Like, that's unbelievable. To me, that's unbelievable. I gotta find Captain Canuck, y'all. I gotta find Captain Canuck. Who else do I have to find again? Captain Canuck, Fleur-de-Lis. Sorry, you don't say the S. It's Fleur-de-Lis. And Nelvana of the Northern Lights. For history's sake, I'll find more about him, but I'm very much interested in Captain Canuck, Fleur-de-Lis, and Nelvana of the Northern Lights. I just found new things. This is so cool. Yeah, so there we are. Canadian comic books. We found out a lot. That was fun. Thanks for coming along, guys, and I will see you later.